Ladies and gentlemen, guess what time it is? It's F major at its second chord time. I've been thinking lately about my own mortality because sometimes you joink yourself or something. You take a flight of stairs too quickly. You take a flight of stairs the wrong way. Or maybe not a flight of stairs. Maybe you trip over a root in the ground. Or you nearly get hit by a car or something. And you become cognizant of not just your own mortality, but the fact you're not going to be young forever. The fact that there will come a time when you're not just going to be able to just get up and walk away from just messing up like a fool or something. You're not going to be young forever. I'm not going to be young forever. Some of you might not be young anymore. I don't know who's out there listening right now. But I got thinking about my mortality. And not like in a morbid way, like, darkness oppresses me. Everything turns to dust. Not that. I don't have the time or patience for that kind of thing. I'm too giddy to give myself over to extended contemplation of the darkness with a capital T and a capital D. No. I just sort of think about, yeah, that's going to happen. And then I think about like hot dogs or potatoes or the floor or the ceiling. You know how it is. When I die, I want to be a ghost. I think about this sometimes, and I decided, I don't know if I believe in, heaven or reincarnation, but if I had my druthers, I would be a ghost. And, again, I don't know if I believe in ghosts. And if I do believe in ghosts, I don't know what kind of ghosts I believe in. Because, some ghosts, you gotta haunt people. You gotta be tied to the place. You gotta, inhabit a corporeal object. I'm not really interested in doing any of those things. And the reason I want to be a ghost when I die, and I hope that I can just be a normal ghost, just a wandering spirit that just goes places, is that if I'm an incorporeal spirit, if I'm an intangible, freely moving spirit, I'll be able to go down to the ocean and just walk in and keep walking. I won't float because my body will not be buoyant because I will not have a body. I'll just be able to just walk calmly across the ocean floor and look at the beautiful things that are there. Because the ocean is full of wonders. And if you want to go down to the bottom of the ocean, you need a scuba tank or something. Or like a submarine. And those seem inconvenient. I don't have a submarine. I'll have to buy a scuba tank or rent one or whatever it is you do. But I'm going to die eventually. And if I can compound the reality of my mortality with the ability to walk across the ocean floor and look at, because there's things at the bottom of the ocean we don't even know are there. The sea is full of wondrous mysteries. And why wouldn't I want to contemplate the mysterious, the unknown, and the beautiful? There's no good reason not to contemplate those things, in my estimation at least. So I find myself thinking about the bottom of the ocean. But then I will grow bored. Or I would run out of ocean or something. After a certain period of time, no light penetrates down that deep, so I'm just wandering around in the dark like a fool, tripping over things. It'll just be like being alive again. I'll get bored eventually, won't I? Maybe I'll return to the surface after a while, and I will... Oh my goodness. This occurred to me. I could go to space! I could go and be a space ghost. A ghost in space. I could be like a Mars ghost and look at the Spirit and the Opportunity and Olympus Mons and all the other space things that are on Mars. And then I could go to the other space places, like other space. Can a ghost travel at the speed of light? Can a ghost travel faster than the speed of light? A ghost is not composed of matter. A ghost is composed of like ectoplasm and spiritual energy or something. It depends on what movie you're watching at any given moment. If I were a ghost, would I be capable of faster than light interstellar space travel? I have stumbled on a vein, ladies and gentlemen. I could go to space really fast and then go to all the places that you read about in science textbooks. I could go like watch a supernova. I could look at the sun. I could look at the sun. I wouldn't go blind because I was already dead. Dang. Can you imagine this? Can you just like close your eyes and think of just the alien landscapes that I could visit or you could visit when you pass until the next life? Think about it. You know? Because who knows what's out there? It's like going to the bottom of the sea, except that it doesn't end. You know, there's only a finite amount of ocean. But space is infinite. Well, it's decided. When I die, I'm going to become a ghost and I'm going to go to space. Man, I was just going to say, like, go to St. Petersburg or something boring like that. Not to say that St. Petersburg is boring. St. Petersburg is a lovely city that is not as interesting as the surface of Callisto, as the oceans of Europa, as the rings of Saturn, the sunspots, supernovae in far-off distant galaxies. Oh, I got myself worked up all of a sudden, thinking about what could happen. I mean, even if I got bored of space, and why would I get bored of space? Do you ever think about what's in space that we don't know about? Because, like, Pluto went from not being anything in the human imagination to being a planet to not being a planet in what, 100 years, 150 years? Probably less than that. I could look it up on Wikipedia or something. We were around for thousands of years. We didn't even think that there was a ninth planet or the possibility of something other than a planet that Pluto could be. But now there's like 7 dwarf planets. Now there's like dwarf planets and minor planets and the Kuiper Belt and the Oort Cloud, things we couldn't even conceive of conceiving back in the days of Ptolemy or Aristotle. I have very little respect for Ptolemy. It's not every day that you find you're so incredibly wrong that you set back Western science for like 2,000 years. That's a special kind of ineptitude. But I digress. Space. What is out there that we don't even know about? I talk about, the ocean, it's full of things we don't know because it's so dark down there and we can only see so much of it. But space, shoot. Space. All we can see is, those few things. Those few things that have come within range that we can see them within the time that we'll be able to see them, New and fascinating things could be happening. New formations could be under construction in space right now, and we would have absolutely no idea because the light is so far away that we don't even know that it's there to reach us. Whoa. This was not where I was expecting this episode to go. The contemplation of the unknowable, the yet unknowable in space. But I'm glad it went there. Oh, man. thanks for helping me on my way to this epiphany, because I think that was well worth my time. Thank you. Thank you. I'll talk to you next week.